This is Denmark Real. I am Amar Ahmed. My mission is to connect human beings all over the world. And I want you to be with me on this trip. Every week I'll be sharing stories from amazing guests. I believe that every one of us have something special, that every one of us have a story to tell and a song to sing.
In order to become a medical doctor, and in order to get the success I believe I have, comes from the love and support of my parents, for sure. My father always told us to be grateful for what we have and to finish our meal because someone else don't have what we have. With love and support, you can succeed. You can succeed in anything. Whenever I came home, the first thing first was always to do my homework. And I continued to do so in high school. I didn't make any other plans before I was finished with my homework.
The discipline and
dedication too.
dedication too.
It's really important. And then in the first half a year, I got this average around 4. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm never gonna become a doctor because in able to get into university, you need like an average around like 10. I'm like, well, I'm so far away from a 10. Always give yourself a goal. Always give yourself a goal and try to enjoy reaching that goal and also enjoy getting to that goal. Be proud of what you're doing every day. When you work hard enough, you also as a child, you pretty early on you really like discover what is important, and material thing is not important for you to have because you work so hard, and then for what? Just to buy some junk that you're gonna throw up later? No. Always see a bad experience as a good experience, and I want to tell you why. Because even from a bad experience, you learn something. Even though it might be hard in the situation or in the days or months after, you will still think back at the end and think, hey, I learned something from it. And when you learn something, like when you genuinely learn something, that is a gift. And how can a gift ever be negative or a bad thing? I believe time is something that's really important, of course, but it's something is probably the most important part of your life, because time, you can't get that back. No matter what you think you're the best thing at the job, if you're really not passionate about it, you will never get to the fullest of that goal, you know? My job makes me smile every single day.
Why?
Because it's always been my dream. It's my passion to help other people.
Welcome to Denmark Real. I am Amar Ahmed. With me today is Simon Esbersen. Simon is a doctor and on the way to be a children's doctor. Welcome to you, Simon.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Simon, could you tell me about the journey to become a doctor? And could you start from the beginning, growing up maybe?
From the beginning, yeah, sure. Oh, it's been a long way, for sure. And I think the idea of becoming a medical doctor started a long ago too. I don't know where I got the idea of actually becoming a medical doctor, where that came from. In our family, we don't have like a long history of medical doctors or like university graduates. Although my father has always been fond of studying and learning and keeping him up to date, and he's both an engineer and also a science math teacher in public school. But my mother, on the other hand, is more like a learning by doing type of person, and she has always worked hard and in unskilled jobs. So that's kind of my parents' background. The only like medical doctor that we had in the family, that's my uncle, but he unfortunately died. He died actually only a year after becoming a medical doctor. So I don't know if that ever affected me or affected me becoming a medical doctor, but maybe, yeah.
But what was the first memory when you think back about, did it strike you that, what was the thing that catched you?
Yeah, that's a good question too. But I actually asked my mother the other day, like, when I introduced the ideas to her, and she was like, she sat around when I was 10, 11 years old, and she never gave it that much thought or asked me why or anything like that, not what I remember of. And I know for a fact my teacher back in public school, he said I introduced the idea to him when I was in 5th grade. That means I was around like 12 years old. And that's also the time where I got aware of it myself, around 12 years of age. But I even think it started earlier than when I was 12 years old, because I have this strong image of me. You know, when you're younger, you always have to do what you want to become when you get older, when you grow up. And I don't know why, but I just remember I drew this man in this scrub, this medical scrub, and he was like holding this conic bottle you use in chemistry, and on it it said like the cure for AIDS. And I'm like, okay, I have that image in my head, and I don't know where I heard of AIDS either when you're like 10 years old, but yeah.
So that was one of the things that
Yeah.
sticks with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, of course, I always really loved being around children.
Yeah.
I really love children. That's maybe a wrong thing to say, but I really do adore children, and I really want to do the best in order to help children. And because children are so innocent, it's never a child's reason that they are sick. Either it's their environment they're in, or of course also genetic diseases. Whereas a grown-up, some of the diseases might have been due to how you have lived your life. So that's also why a children's doctor, yeah.
So back to your
Yeah.
your family and growing up.
Yeah,
You wrote me love and support
yeah,
was two main, let's call them, things
yeah,
that affected you.
yeah. And yeah, I think believe in order to become a medical doctor, and in order to get the success I believe I have, comes from the love and support of my parents, for sure. We never had much, or we weren't rich at all when I grew up, but we never needed things, we never need anything or missed anything, but what we had was love and support. And maybe I will come back to that, because I'll just talk about maybe more about things, what things actually mean, and if it means anything. I actually asked my father how wealthy we were, or how much money we actually had, and he told me that for several periods, for several months, we actually lived for around 750 Danish crowns. That corresponds to like, yeah, how much is that? 100 euros, 110 US dollars, like 80 Great British pound. But
So
I never thought of that we were poor in any way, even though it sounds like a really low budget for a family of 4. But let me just think how I want to say the next thing, because because my father always told us to be grateful for what we have, and to finish our meal because someone else don't have what we have. And also I felt rich because every day I had food. Every day I had food, every night I had food, and every single night I went to a warm bath too. And every morning I got up to clothes, not new clothes maybe, but I got up to clean clothes. Yeah. And that's what makes you rich. Not all the material things you have, even as a child. You just want the love and support and someone caring for you. Yeah.
What do you remember from back then? Because how can you be that young and understandable of all that?
Yeah, sure. As a child, you also come to realize what impact money has. It may be too nicely, too idyllic to say that as a 12-year-old, money doesn't matter, because, of course, when I saw other children getting the newest PlayStation console, like a cell phone, new clothing, of course you got a bit jealous. Yeah. Of course, there's like this wave flushing over you, like, wow, I want that too. And also, of course, we never traveled abroad during summer vacation, summer holiday. And also, of course, when we met after the summer holiday, I do remember the jealousy feeling again of someone been traveling south, like Spain or whatever, Greece, and we never went abroad. But again, those feelings never seemed to last that long. I didn't took those feelings like too near on myself. Again, I don't know why I've always been a person who has been able to see things positively and to turn things around into something positive. And like, for example, I just made it clear to myself that I would never let money affect me, affect what I want to do, what I want to buy, where I want to travel, where I want to go, or whatever I want to do. And that meant I also had to not just struggle in school in order to become a medical doctor from early age, but also had to do a lot of hard work outside of school, like in my spare time, because if I wanted something, I had to earn it myself. And yeah.
What was the hardest time or memory you have of these years growing up, let's say from 10, 12 till 18, 20?
Yeah.
Can you describe it?
Yeah. Of course, the hardest thing was probably when my parents divorced themselves. Then I was around 12. Because for so many years we've been like a family of four with the love and support. And even though of course they loved each other and they were proud of me and my brother, what they have created, but still, there were too many arguments at some point, I think. But also important, again, I didn't let that fill too much of my heart. And I didn't let it fill too much of my thoughts and mind. Again, I'm that kind of person who tries to see things positive even though you're in a bad experience, you're in a bad situation. And I just made it up for myself and made it a life lesson for myself. I told myself I would never divorce my wife. I would never split up my family. And also, there were several periods where the problems were all often discussed with me, and that's also a thing. I would never discuss problems with my children, because children in some way should be allowed to being children and not take the responsibility of your parents' problems. So that's also a thing I made up in my mind, that always change a bad experience into a positive experience. So that's what I truly believe in. Yeah.
So take me further to high school.
Yeah.
How was it there? And could you describe it like you are there in the moment?
Yeah, sure. Like I had some struggles, of course, before high school with the divorce and and things like that. I struggled pretty much in this beginning of high school too, because, as I said, I wanted to become a medical doctor, and I was pretty clear about that. And there's a certain average to get into medical school in university. And then in the first half a year, I got this average around 4. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm never going to become a doctor, because get into university, you need like an average around like 10. I'm like, whoa, I'm so far away from a 10. And I was like, creating these small doubts in my mind, am I even possible to get into medical school? I always thought I was pretty smart and I did well back in public school, but now I only got like an average of 4. And I started thinking about what was it that made me give me that 4. I like to be a bit goofy and like to play around. Maybe that was the problem, because back in public school, my teachers, they knew that I was kind of a funny guy too and also academic, but in this situation in high school, I was a new face. The teacher didn't know me that well, so to me, I was maybe just like a goofy guy, not giving much about like my education or career, anything like that. So.
But did you feel like a goofy guy back then? When you walked in the classroom and you sat there, how was it? What did you do? Goof around?
No, not goof around. I just talk a lot with a lot of the new people. And there was a certain person, we started in the same class, and we haven't been in the same class for like several years. So maybe that was some of it, but I'm not blaming her at all. It's still my fault. I still talk back to her whenever we're in the class. But and then also I came from a public school that in our municipality it is known for having a little lower level of academic or like standard comparing to the other schools. And I was thinking maybe that was just my background. I was not that had that high of a standard, and or maybe it could also just be the teachers. They were like cautious with giving too high grades already in the beginning. But again, no matter what, I knew that I had a dedication. I had like motivation, and I really wanted to succeed. So I just had to change the situation around.
And how did you do that?
Yeah, of course, I started taking class more serious and stopped talking too much during class. And always also in public school, I have always, whenever I came home, the first thing first was always to do my homework. And I continued to do so in high school. I didn't make any other plans before I was finished with my homework, before I finished my homework. And and also, I always struggle with my written papers. Always use like 3 times as much time on my papers. In some degree, I'm maybe a bit too perfectionist, and I spent 3 times as much time doing my papers. And it's not because I wanted the content to be 100% correct. I don't know. I didn't know how you have to do it correct. Of course, in math, there's only one one result, but like in Danish and English, you can always interpret an essay in different ways. But for me, it always been, I wanted to 100% correct in order to reflect how I do things, in order to reflect my work.
To show that you are good
Yeah.
enough.
And also, if we go back to the love and support that my parents created, they created the love and support as a gift for me to be stable in order to dedicate myself to what you call it, to learn. And the way, because how did they give me that love and support? They were always like genuinely like interested in me and my brother. They were genuinely interested in how our day has been, and if we had any homework to do, and if we already did our homework. They were also really like genuinely interested in us, me and my brother, and they were really interested in keeping us accompanied. Like, they always remember I went with my mother grocery shopping. I did laundry with my mother. Sometimes when I folded the clothes, she even refolded it, because I think she's a bit perfectionist too. Maybe that's where I have it from. And with my father, he really loves sports, so he always took us to play football after school. So now you have like a really solid background. They were also interested in social arrangement in school. They always showed up to like these parents meeting in school. That's so important, to show your children that you're genuinely interested in them. Yeah. And that background with that love and support, I took that. And I just created some hard work, like dedication, motivation. And I think those are the ingredients that led me through 3 years of high school to get into medical school, because doing my homework every single day after school, doing those papers, even though it took 3 times as much time, eventually led me after 3 years to get that average, to get into every single year after I got rid of the goofiness, I got better grades. And so, yeah, and then I ended up succeeding in getting my average, and yeah.
Love and support.
Love and support is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And the discipline and
dedication too.
Dedication too, yeah.
It's really important. And also, what is more important, as I also want to make clear, is even though you do experience some bad episodes during your life, always try to see them as positive. Always see a bad experience as a good experience. And I want to tell you why. Because even from a bad experience, you learn something. Even though it might be hard in this situation or in the days or months after, you will still think back at the end and think, hey, I learned something from it. And when you learn something, like when you genuinely learn something, that is a gift. And how can a gift ever be negative or a bad thing? So that's also something I want to make clear. Always try to see a bad experience as a good experience. So I believe there's no bad experience. All my experiences are good.
But how? But
Because I
can
learned,
you give us a story of that? Can you give us a situation?
Yeah. For example,
you
I talked a lot about our financial situation and how money doesn't need to affect your success. For example, I started working. I decided, you know what? Maybe we don't have that much money, or we can't travel anywhere. But you know what? I'm just gonna earn my own money. And because from that, I learned to get a job. Even though you're a child, and some might claim a child shouldn't work, but from that work, I got a responsibility. I learned from early on what a responsibility meant, and how when you save enough money, and when you earn money, that makes you proud. I got that feeling too. From early on, I learned how it is to feel proud of something you've done, and that part is really essential to my success as well. How hard work can get you where you want to get, or get you, if it's things that you can get the things you want. But also that's where I started learning that things are not, it's not my interpretation of wealth. Because when you work hard enough, you also, as a child, you pretty early on you really discover what is important, and material thing is not important for you to have. Because you work so hard, and then for what? Just to buy some junk that you're gonna throw up later? No. But yeah, so that I also learned from having a job from early on. Yeah.
You tried to just be strong and take things on your own way, and appreciate them by working and learning from that.
Yeah, always learning from the situation.
Yeah.
Like I learned from my parents' divorce. That I will never divorce my wife or discuss my problems with the children. I learned from our financial situation, working hard, enjoying the process of achieving something, both to achieve something, but also to enjoy the process of achieving things. Let's try and give me a moment where I really felt that proudness. I've really been working hard for a long time. I remember I was around 10. And as I said, we didn't have many things, and I always had this friend who always almost got what he wanted, or the newest thing. And I remember he got this Nokia 3310, and I was like, of course I was jealous, because I didn't have any cell phone at that moment, and he got the newest one. I was like 10, wow. And I have saved up some money, and I was like, I believe I should buy this phone, because I wanted to, it's so smart, it's the newest one. And I remember it was Christmas, and I was 10, and I saved up for a long time. And then at Christmas time, I got this CD, and I was really struggling in my mind, because this CD had the same value as I needed actually to save enough money to buy me that cell phone. I was like, what do I want to do? I don't want to disappoint my parents, because they bought something for me, and still I wanted that cell phone. But in the end, I actually delivered that CD back, and I had the exact amount of money I needed for that cell phone. So I went down, I remember clearly, I went down, I bought the cell phone, and it was so amazing to have it in my hand. Although it's a materialistic thing, but the feeling of being 10 years old, and for the first time actually getting what you wanted, that made me pretty proud. Yeah. So that's really something I took on my way and on my journey, to keep continuing getting that feeling of proudness, when you achieve something. Later on, of course, I've learned to understand the meaning and things and other goals and dreams you can create. But for me in that moment, my dream was that cell phone, and just achieving that is really amazing. So that's something I hope for everyone, that they experience that proudness too of achieving something. And that's why it's so important to have a good background, as I said, with love and support. And yeah, that was a really strong moment for me. I bought it the day after Christmas. Like, wow. and to open it, yeah, and play with it. Play the snake, you know, that was snake. I think everyone remember playing snake, and you showed it to your friends. Hey, I got this high score now. Can you beat me? And stuff.
Do you remember that we could actually make ringtones with it as well?
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I was so smart, that phone, you know, and I was so proud of having that phone. Yeah.
I remember you can never break it. It
was like impossible. And if it was running low on battery, you could just turn it off, and like in 10 minutes, oh, it was full charge again. Like, yeah, it was crazy.
There was times, right?
Yeah, those were really good times. Yeah. But most important, I felt so proud of buying that phone.
It's so silly, right?
Yeah,
when you think about it now,
yeah.
right?
And also how hard I worked helping my brothers, you know, delivering those newspapers, because that was some of how I earned the money for the phone, like delivering newspapers. And also whenever it was like whenever it was your birthday, I always saved my money from the small amounts you got. I was like, yeah. So it was also like a really, really great effort in order to save enough money. I remember it was like 1,000 crowns, that phone. I didn't even remember the exact amount, you know, it was like crazy. Like 1,000, yeah.
That's a lot of money when
you're back then when you're 10 years old, and back in the days 1,000 is not enough. So it's a long process to get that phone, but yeah.
You got it.
I got it. Yeah.
So how did you continue your life from there when you got into university, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. After high school, yeah. And I kept for a long time. So before university, I struggled a lot with examination anxiety, and maybe I shortly want to get into that before I continue my story into university.
Let's do that.
Because I really wanted to nail those exams. I really wanted to do my perfect in the best possible way. It had to be perfect. And when you have that strive, when you have that goal that I had, you believe that anything has to be 100% correct. And that meant, for example, when I was examinated, I know I had to get the highest score, because if I didn't get the highest score, I wouldn't get the average I needed to get into university. So in my mind, I remember this moment, I was actually biology exam, and I was really well prepared, and there was no questions I didn't answer. But then there was this question. I don't know if I misunderstood it, but I wasn't able to in some way answer it like correctly, because she kept asking me the same question. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean with this question? Isn't it this and this and this? But she was like, no, what is it that like something with the cell or the surface of the cell? I'm like, okay. And then my head started to spin. I was like, I'm not going to answer this. I'm going to fail. You know, I'm not going to get the grade I need. I'm not going to get the top grade in order to get into university and get my average that I need. And I was like, my head started to spin. I clearly remember that I got so dizzy. And then she could see it in me. It was like, I think you need to put your head between your legs. And I did. It was so silly. I felt so stupid, you know. Also so stupid that something that small could impact you so that much, have that impact on you. But yeah, I did that, and I got a little bit better. And I even got a decent grade. I got like the second highest. But for me, that wasn't enough, so I actually went directly to the principal office and told her I wanted a re-examination. That's how much it meant to me to get into university. And she was like, Simon, you don't need that. You did do it well enough. I don't think you need to do a re-examination. And like, yeah, sure, maybe. But still, that was a hard blow for me too, to actually have that. Part of me always had to struggle with that perfection, that you need to do the best. That was pretty hard too, to have to those 3 years of high school where you always have to like perform. Yeah. And that's also why when I got into university, I told myself grades is not going to mean anything to me anymore. Because in medical school, if you pass an exam, then you're good enough to become a doctor. So that's how I started believing, I'm in medical school now. I did my job. I was so dedicated. I was so, what you call it, just dedicated, motivated for success to get in there. And now I'm going to stop thinking about grades because I just want to be good enough to become a medical doctor. And I really felt those weight on my shoulders that I've had every single day in high school. I really felt those weight like falling off my shoulder. I was like, so wow. It was really like a relief. Yeah.
That must have been tough.
Yeah, tough, of course, but yeah, you learn a way. You also learn to get around it. Just maybe study even more, be even more well prepared. But still, it was hard. And you have that bag in your mind that you need to perform. You need to ace those grades.
Yeah, because the anxiety will kick in.
Yeah, at some point, I don't know why and when it kicked in. It was as soon as I started doubting in myself, or doubting in the question, or doubting that I wouldn't be able to get the highest score. Yeah. Oh. So that I struggled a little bit during high school, and also actually in public school. I had a similar experience too, where I also kind of not blacked out, but I actually just remember I went into examination and then they started asking me questions. I believe I did answer them back, but I was like, I don't remember anything from the moment I stepped into I get out. I was like, wow, okay. That was kind of a weird moment, but yeah. A second highest score is also good enough to get you in. But
you got through that?
Yeah, I did.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
So you got into university?
Yeah, I did.
What now? Congratulations for that.
Yeah.
At that time.
I got into university, it was perfect. But by now it probably seems that my whole life has been revolved around me getting into university, me getting those grades in high school, and and stuff like that, always performing. But that's not quite true, because I always try to live in present, because time, I believe time is something that's really important, of course, but it's something is probably the most important part of your life, because time, you can't get that back. And by losing those weights after high school and deciding not focusing on grades anymore meant that I was able to even enjoy time more. I was able to focus on things that I really enjoy. And I wasn't that busy always striving for what was to come, like to get into university and to become a medical doctor, because I knew when I got into university, I knew at the end I will become a medical doctor. I'm here now. I will become a medical doctor. So why don't you just start enjoying every single day and enjoying the presence? And then the big question is, of course, but how do you enjoy your presence if what you believe is the best thing is to become a medical doctor? How do you enjoy the presence up to becoming a medical doctor? For me, I try to give myself, or have small dreams, set me small goals, which means that, every day, let me just rephrase it, like every day you achieve something. And as I said before, when you achieve something, you feel so proud. I felt so proud when I bought that cell phone. And why don't you feel that moment every single day, and not just in 5, 6, or 10 years when you become a medical doctor? So for me, I give myself small goals every day, not every day, but also maybe next month, a year ahead. So I'm just so busy. I want to focus on that becoming a medical doctor. So I forget the present time, and I'm just gonna go forward to that. An example is for example, when, let me give you a situation, a moment where I get the feeling of that I achieved something. For me, it could, for example, going to the gym, do a great workout. Because for me, that is living in the moment. Because for some, like me, I really enjoy the time in the gym where I have an hour or two for myself and my thoughts. Also, for some and for me, sometimes working out, I do it with a friend, and then you're able to enjoy presence with a friend too, that you might not see that often. And also able to just to step into the gym, and then you feel how you lose your restlessness. I need to do something, and to get some energy is also an important goal. And also in that goal of just not going to the gym every day, you can also set a goal, because I wanted to change my appearance. I always was this chubby teenager, and I struggled with how I look through state school, public school too. I was a bit chubby. So for me, starting in the gym, I had also had a longer goal, not that therapeutic part every day and that getting that energy, but also that longer, I want to change my appearance. I want to get loose of that fat, and I get that six pack, and I did that too. So again, you see, I enjoy the process, which is every day you get energy from working out, but also I changed my appearance, which was my bit long-term goal.
Were there any problems with self-esteem because of your appearance, or back then?
Yeah, I do remember. After when you shower, after what you call like motion, like exercise, what you call in English, yeah, after like physical education. Of course, you have to shower, and you were a little bit more chubby, so things were more hanging. Where the other guys, they were just all flat, And but what was hardest for me was always to see how people could just eat. I remember I was really young. Those children, they just ate like a whole cake. Didn't have to worry about it. They were just like skinny as a stick, And I was like a bit chubby. Everything was a bit hanging. And I was a bit jealous. They could just eat and not think about what they were eating and how they looked. I don't know, but that affected me in some way too. But again, as I said, it's not a... Yeah, as I said, I take every bad experience, bad situation, and turn them around, even though being a bit chubby or being a bit fat is maybe not a bad situation, but still, for me, and how I believe is just change it around. If you want to feel different, then do something about it. And then I had this goal, I just worked out. I took my bad situation I was in, bad, and turned it into a good situation. I stopped working out, and I started actually losing weight. Actually, first time I was ever proud of my body, I remember that was the summer when I was like 21.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever actually looked myself in the mirror, and I felt proud of how I looked.
There's actually many years.
Yeah, it is.
To...
But again, it also didn't, for some it wasn't not a big problem, because I never got bullied for being fat actually. I never got bullied for being fat. People didn't tell me I was fat. I was a pretty popular guy. But still, in some way, I created those ideas in my mind that I was a bit chubby, and I felt a bit embarrassed of how I looked. And I don't know where you get that feeling from as a 12, 13-year-old boy, but still you get it. And that was hard for some period of time. But again, as I said, just you in the situation, change it. Learn something from it, and I did. I just started to work out, and I lost all the fat, and I became proud. Not only because of the result I became proud, I also really got proud of the process, the journey. And that's another important part of what we're talking about now, presence. Do not always just be proud when you get to the result, because then you also don't enjoy present. Try to enjoy the process. Like, for example, we're working out. I enjoyed the process, or just process of working out. But I also enjoyed the result, which was me losing fat, which was me getting the body I always wanted. So that's what I took out of the situation I was in.
Yeah. So every day or every workout was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was enjoyable itself. Yeah. It was just because I was focusing on the result of getting that six-pack.
Yeah, because people only think about getting that goal.
Yeah.
And when they get that, it's just in a moment, and after that they are unhappy again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they are chasing the next goal, and
exactly.
They never live in the
And also, it doesn't have to be working out. I just found joy in working out. Yeah. I didn't work out to get to my goal. I worked out because I loved working out too. As I said, I could spend time with my friends. I could spend time on my own and just enjoy my time on my own. So that was also enjoying the present, and at the same time reaching a goal by living in the present. So it was like, what you call how kill a bird with two stones, or how you call it,
That's nice.
That's one part of you can enjoy presence,
Yeah.
Because then you have small goals in your everyday, and you have a long-term goal as well. So you enjoy every day, and you enjoy also that goal at the end.
So,
Yeah.
if you should give an advice to your younger self, what
Yeah.
would that be?
For me, what helped me through all my struggles is the way of thinking that you can change a bad situation. You can always change a bad situation into something good. I actually believe there's never a bad situation, never a bad experience, because if you believe, you learn something from it, and you use that to make your situation better, then it's a good experience because you learn from it.
Yeah.
Did it make any sense? Did I make it clear?
We learn from everything. And
Yeah, we learn and that's so important to learn from everything, because learning is really truly a gift.
Yeah.
I love learning, and I try to learn something every day, and that's so important.
Because we develop. That means
Exactly.
we are stepping up, actually.
Yeah.
Becoming better and better
Yeah.
for every lesson and
Yeah.
every learning. So, what are your core values?
My core values for sure is that there's no bad experience, there are only good experience because you learn.
Yeah.
And probably one of the greatest core value is what I got from my parents, my heroes, that with love and support you can succeed. You can succeed in anything. And that's why I also believe that people should show genuinely like love and support to whoever they are around, like their wives, their children, their niece, their nephew. And also, some people are not as fortunate as me, or maybe some of the guys watching this show, to have that background with love and support. So try and also be a role model for those like less fortunate than we are. That's also so important. You can become a role model. I have volunteered as a role model myself and tried to pass on what I got from my parents.
Yeah. How do you do that?
I mean, just being there and never tell them that you can't do anything. Just show enthusiasm when they get home from school, when they tell you something about their life. Yeah. I don't know what it is that my parents did to me, but I just remember that I always felt like loved.
Yeah.
And I always felt that they were like interested in me and interested in what I did. And I think that's just important to genuinely show that you are interested in someone else's life and show them the love and support they need. Yeah.
Then they will grow.
Then they will grow for sure.
Yeah. What are the plans for the future?
Plans for the future? Yeah, now I'm on my way becoming a pediatrician, a children's doctor. And after that, in the long run, when I'm done with that, I want to take that and use it abroad, not only in Denmark. I want to work in Denmark or maybe in another country. Like I have this regular job, but I really want to volunteer in parts of the world where the situation is really, it's not maybe really where the situation is bad, where a crisis. It could be due to war, it could be due to natural disasters, but I really want I want to go out and volunteer and help people who are again less fortunate than we are. Yeah.
Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to help others in less fortunate countries?
Yeah.
What is your ideal image of the world?
The idea, that would be that no one ever have to suffer from anything. Like there had to be no health care problem. There didn't have to be any hunger strife. But they're like really big goals to set for yourself. So that's also, I do create my own goals, and that is to go and help wherever I can.
Yeah.
Maybe I can, it's quite a large goal to have to ensure like world peace, but at least you can do something for a small group of people, and that something would have a great impact for those people. Yeah. And because I have a lot to give, because I have that great background with love and support, I believe I have a lot love and support to give too. So also you can say love, if you get a lot of love and support, you are also you can also pass that on, and make others succeed.
Yeah.
That's really important too. That you make others grow, that you make others succeed in life too.
Because what is success for you?
Success for me,
Yeah.
as I said, success for me is achieving the goals or the dreams that you have.
Yeah.
And for me, by now, it's not about materialistic things. It's about, it's always been about helping others, and making people around you happy and loved. Kind of idyllic way of thinking, but what is my interpretation of success? I don't think it's an objective question. You have to just think yourself, what is success for me?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you can define or what success is.
For others.
For others, yeah.
Therefore, I asked you also, what is success for you?
Yeah, exactly. And success for me was, of course, becoming a medical doctor, but also, as I said I had several dreams within my journey of becoming a medical doctor, and that those small goals were success too. Yeah.
So setting some small goals and achieving them.
Yeah.
And I usually ask a question like, if I was a genie, what would you ask for?
If you were what?
If I was a genie. What would you ask for? And
what would you ask for?
What I mean by that question is, there is no limitations. If there is no limitations, what would you wish for? What would you?
There are no limitations. Yeah, that's also a good thing. But I believe there's no limitation. Actually, that's also a core value of mine. I believe there's no limitation, only a challenge. But that also means, of course, you have to give yourself a challenge, so you develop yourself. But also, I'm a kind of a realistic and logical man too. So I don't challenge myself. Like I said, I don't have a goal like I want to ensure world peace. That's, in my way, is not logical, but you can still, instead I believe, okay, I want to start a campaign against something that disrupt peace in a certain community, for example.
Yeah.
Because that goal is more it's more exaggerate, and it's actually attainable, exactly. Yeah. And also, I'm not interested in giving myself a goal I know is actually impossible to fulfill. Of course, I hope for world peace, but it's really not impossible to fulfill at the moment.
Not by one person.
But not by one person, but I can do something else. I can give myself a goal, so I can at least start world peace somewhere, for someone in the world, and then also achieve that goal, and I become proud. I become proud of the journey and the result, instead of letting myself down because I never made the world peaceful. So there's never, as I said, there's never limitations, but you should also be realistic in the challenges that you give yourself and the goals that you give yourself. But if you were a genie, I don't know. World peace, but I said,
You don't have desires?
Yeah. No, I don't have any desires for myself.
What makes you smile?
What makes me smile?
Yeah.
A lot of things makes me smile. Dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing. I don't know. That's one of my biggest passion. Beside being a doctor, that's a great passion of mine. But dancing makes me smile.
What kind of dancing?
Whatever hits me, like the rhythm, I just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I really just go with the flow when it comes to dancing. That's really something I'm passionate about. Just, stepping onto that dance floor and just feeling those beats and just starting moving to those beats. Yeah. That's really something that makes me smile. And talking with other people, like meeting different cultures, meeting different people, listen to other people's story.
Yeah.
Like once I went to Japan, I went to Japan for 15 days, alone, all alone. And I never met so many different people and talked with so many people before in one trip. Maybe it was because I was alone, so people were more available for people, because someone don't interrupt a couple of two traveling around. But when you're alone, people are really like interested in why are you here alone? What is it? That makes me really smile when I start talking with people and listen to their story and history and whatever they have to tell me. That makes me smile too, to travel and talk to people and meet new cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we should be open. It's good to be open to have interests in other people and not be so scared and judgmental.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, my job makes me smile every single day.
Why?
Because it's always been my dream. It's my passion to help other people. So, yeah.
Your work, so helping others see them being healed, get better.
Yeah, not here because not everyone you heal as a doctor. No. It's not possible to heal everyone, but just going to work every day in a job that you always wanted to do is really like amazing. So that's something I hope for everyone, that they find their place in the world too, and for themselves, like really find something they're passionate about, because also have this other valuable that passion is what brings you the farthest. If you don't have passion, you will never get as far as possible in what you're doing. No matter what you think you're the best thing at the job, if you're really not passionate about it, you will never get to the fullest of that goal, you know?
Yeah, because usually just when you get hit by challenges, you just quit. Yeah. Because the goal wasn't that important anyway.
Yeah, and also there's a difference between being satisfied and passionate.
So passion is really important to strive to find that flame inside of you and enthusiasm to chase the dream. Just was something you like and maybe love also.
Yeah. Because that also makes the journey really like, as I said, not only the result but also the journey that you have to enjoy, to enjoy the presence. And if you're passionate about it, you love also every single step leading to that goal. Yeah.
Because you see the whole puzzle connect all these small dots.
True. Yeah, it's true.
Every day you put one piece in that puzzle, and at the end,
it's like, wow,
the whole picture's there.
Yeah. But I'm far from the end result. I'm still not a children's doctor, so I have more puzzles to put in.
But you're on the way.
I'm on the way. And I'm getting there in the end, so. And I'm enjoying the way getting there. So.
That is what is important.
Yeah.
You talked about, you mentioned something about your grandmother gave you an advice. You wrote me that.
Yeah. As I said, one reason of me succeeding was the love and support from my parents. But you also have to do some of the job yourself. Of course, you need to have the right basis that pushes you on your way to success, but you have to do the job yourself. And also, as my grandmother says, she has this, I can quote her, she says that even in God's mill, you have to work. And in other words, that means nothing comes to you for free. Like even in the most beautiful, the maybe best place imaginable, heaven, God's place, even there, nothing comes to you for free. Nothing is just handed to you. So I really love that quote, because that means like you always have to do a little in order to get to reach your success, to reach your goal. So I really love that quotation from my grandmother. Yeah, that's really
cause and effect.
Cause of me. Exactly. But she really, when she said that to me, it was like, wow, that's exactly how I felt. You know, it's also something like you can have the talent, you can have the background, you can have the basis, but talent is never fully fulfilled if you don't do the work yourself a little bit. You can always you can always like put some extra to it, and first then you will truly succeed. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because some people think or imagine that they are just talented and that's it.
Yeah, but they need more than that.
Practice.
And also I learned that from when I was young. You know, I started working from early on. I got a responsibility. I got the discipline from working hard early on. So yeah, it was hard when I was 12. I remember walking through the snow with those shitty newspaper, and you cut yourself every time, you know, when you had those mailboxes. Now it's on the road, but back then it was in the small, like, line in the door itself. So you have to run up to 5th floor and put those, like, even especially in Christmas, there were like 10 like commercials you had to put in that little line. And whenever you took those handouts, they always like flushed your nails, and that hurt so much. And it was cold and like, wow. But again, it was still, you know.
How old were you? 13?
No, 12.
12.
Yeah. Later on, I did some other works as well, other jobs as well. But that's hard time, yeah. But that's how it is. That's how you
Work for it.
Yeah, you work for it.
You work for it.
So nothing is free, you know.
What can you give an advice to those who are studying to become maybe something great?
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, work hard, give yourself the dedication you need.
Yeah.
But also don't forget to live in present time. Really don't forget to live in present. Yeah, you have that one goal, but don't be too busy heading to that goal. Because normally medicine is like 6 years. I did it in 7.5 years. And so what? So what if I'm at the end, I'm only gonna work like 33 years as a medical doctor instead of 35? Because I really enjoy 7.5 years of my life instead of forgetting about prison, being so focused on getting to that goal only after 6 years. 1.5 years different, what does it matter? Yeah. Also, maybe like if you want to finish school 4 years instead of 6 years, what does it matter? What does it truly matter if you reach your goal 2 years before time? Yeah, you might tell me, yeah, I'm able to be happier 2 years before because I reached my goal 2 years before, yeah. But then rethink, I would say you lost 4 years. Because every day you just struggle, you went around in circles, studied hard to reach that goal in 4 years. Instead of just expanding in 2 years, and every day you could achieve something else. You could create more goals for yourself and enjoy present.
Because you struggled all the 4 years.
For just that goal. And also, why not give yourself more goals in the future? Like, so you also create nuances in your life. Yeah.
So to focus on one goal at a time, or?
No, I mean, like, you can have more future goals than just one.
Yeah.
Because that also creates nuances to your everyday life. That you're not doing only one thing every single day, the same thing, but you can do different things in your day.
To not get bored with it.
Yeah, also not get bored, but yeah. Also to develop, to develop yourself and reach your full potential somewhere else too.
So if you should give us something from your profession as a doctor, an advice to keep you healthy maybe, or...
To keep yourself healthy, what would it be?
What do you do?
What do you do to be healthy? I make sure I'm happy every day.
Yeah?
I believe that, yeah. Happiness is one of the major reasons for you being healthy, really, truly. And of course, what you eat reflects your appearance and your health too. Yeah. And of course, exercise, keeping yourself active affects how you appear and how you appear on the inside too, and how your health is. So yeah. Those 3 things I would probably recommend you to be happy every day, or at least in the most possible time, and then also eat healthy and try to be active. Yeah, and also always give yourself a goal. Always give yourself a goal and try to enjoy reaching that goal and also enjoy getting to that goal. Be proud of what you're doing every day. Be proud, be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's more for a mental factor that will keep you healthy. A lot of your health lies in this state of your mental status as well, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that too, actually.
Yeah.
Because we ruin our life by our thoughts.
Yeah.
About something that is not here yet.
For sure.
And yeah. Simon, thank you for being here with me.
My pleasure.
It was really an honor
to
have you here.
My pleasure.
And thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and Instagram and Facebook. A lot of places. This will be an interview you can watch on YouTube or listen to on our podcast. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.